Smith Show coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airways of ESPN Radio and ESPN News. 250 plus markets across the United States of America, plus ESPN Radio on Sirius XM, Channel 80, plus ESPN Radio simulcast over the live national television airways of ESPN News. Number to call up as always is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. The Stephen A. Smith Show on the road is being presented by Progressive Insurance. It's live from Atlanta for coverage of the big game. That would be Super Bowl 53 this Sunday evening. It's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. My apologies to those out there. I don't sound like myself. I feel great. I'm not sick or anything like that. I just lost my damn voice. I've done literally about 27 different interviews over the last 36 hours. So because of that, my voice is a little bit shot. But I'm here, and I'm going to plug on through. The great Jerry Rice will be on the show with us in just a minute or so. I wanted to stay, before he comes on the show, wanted to let everybody in New York know that I'm going to touch on this Kristaps Porzingis trade at some point, because here's the deal. A lot of people are getting on the New York Knicks, and you've gotten pundits and everybody talk about New York Knicks getting the pass. Let's be very, very clear. The New York Knicks suck. Okay, let me be very, very clear for those that think that somehow, some way I pull punches. I believe in Steve Mills, and I believe in Scott Perry, and I believe the future in which they're trying to take this franchise into. But the Knicks stink, and they have stunk, and that's why I'm so supportive of this move. Because if a guy like Kristaps Porzingis comes to you and tells you, I don't want to be here, if you try to keep me here and you don't trade me, I'm going to sign a qualifying offer. And the qualifying offer, mandated by the league's collective bargaining rule, stipulates that you can only sign for 1 year. And after that 1 year, you are an unrestricted free agent. You essentially strip the team that you're on of all the leverage that they have for you. So in order for the New York Knicks to maximize the value that they have for Kristaps Porzingis, they had to make a move now, because you didn't want to keep him on board, telling you he wanted out, essentially indicating to you that he was going to let prospective free agents know that he wanted out, and I'd advise you not to come here as well. You can't let somebody like that stay on your team when you're trying to attract a marquee free agent in the offseason, which is why you turn around, you move him, you create $75 million in cap space, giving you enough dollars to get 2 max players, and it puts you in the running to compete with the Brooklyn Nets, to compete with the Los Angeles Clippers, to compete with teams like the Lakers, the Dallas Mavericks, and others for the marquee free agents out there. It's the only chance you have. Now, does it work? Hell no. It doesn't work until you get those free agents. The New York Knicks are on the clock. They're under immense pressure to get something for losing Porzingis. But understand, they had no choice, in my estimation, because the man didn't want to stay there. He wasn't going to stay there, and nobody was going to come if they had to come by themselves to join the New York Knicks and to be the successor to Porzingis instead of playing alongside Porzingis. That's why you had to let him go. But I'll get into all of that a little bit more as the show progresses right here. Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Is my man on the line right now? Is the greatest wide receiver in the history of the National Football League, the four-time champion, Jerry Rice. Is he on the line right now? Is Jerry Rice there?
Baby.
What's going on, Big Tom? How are you, man? The one and
great.
only Jerry Rice, ladies and gentlemen. Jerry Rice is on the line with yours truly. How are you, my man? How's everything been going?
Hey, man, everything is good, man. Another Super Bowl. Here we go.
Did I ever tell you that I'm still mad at you and my anger towards you has been dating back years? Did I ever tell you that?
What are you talking about? Why are you mad at me?
You came on quite frankly years ago when I had my own television show, quite frankly, on ESPN2. It was a decade ago.
Okay.
You had just finished doing Dancing with the Stars, and if I recall, winning Dancing with the Stars.
No, I did not win.
No. You can't. What you did? Were you the runner-up?
Yes, I did. I got beat by Julius Shea.
Okay. Well, let me tell you something. You danced pretty damn good, and you came on quite frankly, and you showed dance moves that I couldn't imitate.
So as a result, what's wrong with that?
Because everybody knows I can't dance now.
Well, you need to take some lessons.
It's all your fault.
What are you talking? Don't be blaming me.
I am blaming you because, damn it, you know how to dance.
I can't help you dance.
What, you tried?
I'm not. Hey, you can pay me to give you lessons. Yeah, I don't play NFL football anymore. I need a job.
Come on now. Jerry Rice, first of all, what have you been doing with yourself? Because you're here on behalf of Hennessy, first of all. Talk to us about what you're doing with Hennessy and what's going on with that. Let's get that out the way.
Yeah, Hennessy is they have a variety of cognacs, and cognac is a brandy, and it's made in Cognac, France, and for 250 years they have celebrated this with their customers. And you have the never stop, the never settle attitude, and that was something that I did in professional football. So hey, with the big Super Bowl coming up, probably gonna be Hennessy on the rocks, or I might go to Hennessy XO, which is extra O. You know what I'm saying, brother? So Hennessy.com/US.
You know, Jerry, I listen to you right now, and I don't know if you noticed. Do you know that Hennessy is my favorite drink?
Oh man,
I drink Hennessy. I drink Hennessy and Coke every weekend.
I know,
I drink Hennessy and Coke every weekend.
Well, at least we can agree on something.
It relaxes me, man. It definitely relaxes me.
It makes me feel so good that we can agree on something, brother.
That's what I'm saying. Never stop, never settle. I mean, you did it as a football player. I do it with my career in television. Never stop, never settle. I'm constantly after it. So I've taken lessons from one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time, well, unquestionably the greatest wide receiver in NFL history, the one and only Jerry Rice. But as you stand here for Super Bowl 53, what's the first thing jumping into your mind about this particular matchup with New England versus the Los Angeles Rams?
I think it's just that even though I'm not playing in the game, I'm nervous. I was always nervous doing big games, but it brought out the best in me. You look at New England, yeah, they got the experience. They got probably one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. They have a legitimate running game. They got a go-to guy, which I feel is Edelman. And then you got Gronk, so they got some weapons on offense. They have a good defense. The Rams, they don't have all of that experience. They don't have all that knowledge about, being on the big stage. But then you got Donald, you got Sue, and they're going to have to get to Tom Brady and try to rattle him a little bit. And then that secondary going to have to do a good job of, keeping everything underneath.
It's interesting that you bring that up because here's what I'm looking at. We've talked so much about Tom Brady and the greatness of Tom Brady. I don't understand how that hasn't enabled us to transition to Jared Goff being a third-year quarterback going up against the genius of Bill Belichick. How come nobody's brought that up?
I think the thing is, too, and Stephen, here's the deal. Mm-hmm. And I would always say this, and no one thought that Clemson would beat Alabama. Well,
I certainly didn't think they was going to beat their butts the way they beat the brakes off of them like they did.
Brother, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. So Dwight Clark went to Clemson. So Dabo Swinney wanted me to come in and talk to the team this Saturday before that Monday, game. So I go in, I talk to the team, and I talk to the team about teamwork and working together and knowing that the guy next to you got your back. And, I talked to the receivers about using, double move, triple moves coming off the line of scrimmage. And these guys, they talked about their defense as being one of the best. I said, you guys going to get a chance to go up against the best team, Alabama. How you going to respond to that? So I feel, as a team, the Rams, they got a legitimate chance. You got to be able to slay that dragon. So it's they deserve to be here, but Tom Brady is not going to make it easy for them. And the Patriots, they deserve to be here. So it should be a good football game.
It's interesting that you told me you were in that locker room the Saturday before that Monday Night National Championship game between Clemson and Alabama because this kid, Justin Ross, who's a true freshman out of Alabama, who chose Clemson over Alabama. Yeah. I mean, my God, we might be talking about him, comparing him to you in the years to come. That's a bad young brother right there.
That's a bad young man right there, boy. He was killing it. Then he hit me up on social media. He said, Jerry, I used that double move you told me to do and stuff like that. So it made me feel good, man. But then, Trevor Lawrence, the freshman.
Yes. Special.
I met this guy when he was in Portland. He was at a Nike camp. And the way he threw the ball, his composure, it was just unreal the way he played in that football game.
Jerry Rice, let me move on with this quick. First of all, let's get right to it. Who you picking to win this game?
I think, God, it's hard for me to pick one.
I don't want to hear hard. I need a prediction.
Whoever wins this game, guess what they're going to do? They're going to be toasting with Hennessy on the rocks.
I ain't mad at that. They're going to be toasting with Hennessy, and I applaud that. But I'm asking you, who the hell is it going to be? Is it going to be Tom Brady and Bill Belichick or Jared Goff and Sean McVay? Who's it going to be?
We're going to have to wait and watch this play out, man. I'm no expert.
What is the matter with you former athletes, you Hall of Famers, you stars, you NFL aficionados, scared to make a prediction, Jerry Rice?
Don't make me come through this wire to get to you.
You ain't got to be all
mess with me, man. You don't want to mess with me, man. Hey, look, let me tell you one more thing, man. Everybody comparing and they're saying, who's the GOAT? There's a fraternity.
I was on there. That was my next question to you.
There's a fraternity of GOATs. In the NFL, in basketball, I don't care if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, there's a fraternity.
I understand, and I understand that means that you're alluding to a hesitation to pick one. Well, I'm going to ask you to any damn way. They're talking about Tom Brady and acting like Tom Brady should be the GOAT over Joe Montana, your quarterback that helped deliver some Super Bowl championships to you. Are you of that feeling, Jerry
Hey, what did I just say to you? I said there's a fraternity of GOATs. Yes, Tom Brady is a GOAT. Yes, Joe Montana is a GOAT. Yes.
But you're not taking one over the other.
Stephen A. Smith, you're a GOAT, man.
I appreciate that.
You're the greatest of all time.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I'm touched by that.
Hey, man, put the check in the mail, man.
I did damn right. I am going to put the check in the mail. But I still want to know Tom Brady compared to Joe Montana in your mind. Because you played with Joe Montana in all seriousness.
It's a different era. It's a different era, man. And what he's doing at the age of 41, you got to take your hat off to him.
In all seriousness, Jerry Rice, because we got Jerry Rice here on behalf of Hennessy, the greatest wide receiver in the history of the National Football League, right here with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. You've been on the record being supportive of the great Antonio Brown of the Pittsburgh Steelers, ultimately coming to San Francisco, how he wanted to be traded. He wants out of Pittsburgh. He wants to come to San Francisco. Here's where I'm surprised. And I love Antonio Brown.
Ahead.
I do.
Go ahead.
Here's where I'm surprised. You were a model of professionalism throughout your career. You strongly believed in putting your head down, putting in the work, and just being great at what you did. Yep. You wasn't about the drama in it by any stretch of the imagination. Clearly, AB is to some degree. And he's even taught us that, because as much as I love my man T.O., from a publicity perspective, I don't think it's the greatest thing in the world.
Stephen A. Smith,
yes.
Where you going with this, man? Where you going with this?
I'm asking. My question to you is, I'm shocked that you've been so supportive of AB coming to San Francisco as opposed to him working things out in Pittsburgh.
Okay, let me break this down real fast for you. I did not contact AB. He contacted me.
I know.
The fans from Pittsburgh, why are you guys mad at me? Why are you mad at me? He contacted me and he said, hey, Jerry, look, I would love to work out with you. And then the conversation changed a little bit. He said, yeah, maybe San Francisco. I said, San Francisco? I said, if we could bring you to San Francisco, man, I mean, with the players that we have in place right now, God, this is going to send a message to the fans that we're not waiting and trying to win 2 or 3 years down the road. We're trying to win right now. And with your brand,
I see.
With your brand,
so you ain't even thinking about objectively saying something. You're favoring the San Francisco 49ers. You're saying, damn, all them other people. I want them in San Francisco. That's what you say.
It's not my choice. That's up to Kevin Lynch and also John Lynch. John Lynch.
Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan. And Kyle Shanahan. That's up to those guys, Stephen A. Smith. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just delivering the message.
Got
you see what I'm saying? And we would love to have him in San Francisco. I'm going to be honest with you, man, because...
And by the way, where are you living these days?
I'm still in Northern California, man. Northern
California.
Northern
California.
Yeah.
Right,
man, we need to hang out sometime, man.
Right. Yeah. You know what?
Hey, man,
we can in Southern California. I am no fan of Northern California.
Let's have Hennessy on the rocks. I know you like Hennessy and Coke and stuff like that. We can chill, man.
You know what it is?
What?
It's too damn cold.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
It's cold in Northern California. I'll be damned if it ain't.
Hey, man, look, I had to go through Chicago one year for a championship game, man. It was like in the teens. You going to tell me you fair weather like that, man?
When I hear the words California, I'm thinking warm, sunshine, palm trees. If I don't hear that associated with California, I have no use for it. That's me. I gotta go though, and I know you do too.
A tough guy, man.
Yo, please, I'm not. When it comes to cold weather, hell no. I'm as soft as they come. I'll be the first to admit it. Appreciate you, my man. I'm proud of you as always, man. It's always good to talk to you and hear from you. All the best to you, okay?
Man, I love you, man. You're the greatest of all time, man.
All right, my man. The one and only Jerry Rice, the greatest wide receiver in the history of the National Football League, right here with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. I really don't understand what the hell he's saying right now. If you're not willing to admit that you just have a personal affinity for the San Francisco 49ers, why the hell would you suggest that Antonio Brown needs to be there? I got to state this for the record before I get back to Porzingis. I'm really sick and tired of this love porn star Jimmy gets. That's right. I said Jimmy Garoppolo. That's right. I said, did I stutter? Porn star Jimmy. That's what I called him. And, let me give y'all an inside joke because it's Mickey Mouse. ESPN is Walt Disney. So, they own us. So it's Mickey Mouse. And everybody's always in an uproar. My producer just, this dude, my producer right over there, Jonathan Winter, one of the wildest dudes you'd ever want to meet in your life. But I say porn star Jimmy, and his face cringes. Ooh, ooh, ooh. He's timid with it. The producers back in Bristol, Connecticut, New York, L.A., everything. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Excuse me. Jimmy Garoppolo went out with a porn star in Hollywood, knowing that the paparazzis and the cameras, everybody, were there. He knew that. And he went out there anywhere. What a porn star. Now, I'm not hating on him. I don't have a problem with that. To each his own. But what I'm trying to say is that we didn't hesitate to say he was out with a porn star. So what's wrong with me calling them porn star Jimmy? What's wrong with that? I'm not changing that. If I change it, it's gonna be executive orders from the top. Because guess what? It's accurate. If you go out with a porn star before you threw a damn pass for a particular season anyway, all right, and you're more recognized for that date than you are for any damn touchdown passes you threw in the season because you got hurt in game 2. Well, damn it, the reason why you're relevant is that you're porn star Jimmy. So I don't see the problem. Then I'm not a part. And by the way, to Jimmy Garoppolo and the family of Jimmy Garoppolo, it is not an insult. You understand? To each his own. Young single man, good-looking dude, can quarterback, protege, working behind Tom Brady, clearly has some skills. Bill Belichick wanted to keep you. You were 7-0 in your first 7 starts as a quarterback. Haven't been able to stay healthy. Got hurt in New England. Got hurt when you got to San Francisco. After you got $137 million, by the way. And oh, by the way, he went out with the porn star after he got the $137 million contract. Not before. So it wasn't like she was out with porn star Jimmy before he got paid. But that's neither here nor there. The point is it happened. And that's okay. So I just wanted to say that, okay? And for those out there that are younger and all of that other stuff, adult film star. Does that sound better? I like porn star Jimmy, though. It works. Anyway, back to Porzingis. There's a bigger story going on here that everybody needs to pay attention to when it comes to the NBA. What you have is a situation. You got to remember when LeBron James elected to leave Cleveland to go to Miami. Say what you will about him, but he was a free agent. He spent the first 7 years of his career in Cleveland. He wanted a different experience. He went to South Beach on his own after he served his time in Cleveland. He went to Miami. He gave them 4 years, got them to 4 straight NBA Finals appearances, won 2 championships, elected to take his services back to Cleveland. But he was already a free agent, okay? Whether we like it or not, he did his time. He honored his commitment. When he was free to go elsewhere, that's what he did. That's not what's happening now. That's not what happened with Carmelo Anthony when he forced his way out of Denver. That's not what happened. That's what's happening, or what happened with Kyrie Irving when he forced his way out of Cleveland. That's not what happened with Anthony Davis now, who's trying to force his way out of New Orleans. And so what you have is, if you think for 1 second that this is about the Lakers and the Lakers getting an Anthony Davis, for example, you're missing the boat. This is about the NBA with various teams in various small markets collaborating with one another in an effort to try to influence the New Orleans Pelicans to stop them from shipping him to LA. Because if you capitulate to those demands, to a guy that is a superstar but is under contract for the next year and a half, you've completely depleted and wiped out the power that a team has to hold you to your contract. That's why when Kawhi Leonard wanted to leave San Antonio, Greg Popovich and the Spurs sent them out of the country to Toronto. They said, you can go to LA if you want to, but it's not going to be through our hands. It's going to be through somebody else's hands, because we're not giving you that power. And they're encouraging New Orleans to not give Anthony Davis that power. The New York Knicks capitulating and giving away Porzingis, in a lot of people's eyes, they caved. And that's what people have a problem with. I think the difference with the New York Knicks is that it's to their disadvantage, or it would have been to their disadvantage, to keep Porzingis. Because if he signed a qualifying, he basically went into the room, ladies and gentlemen, and said, if you keep me, I'm going to sign a qualifying offer. That qualifying offer, which would happen to happen this summer, is a 1-year deal. After you sign the qualifying offer, you are an unrestricted free agent, free to go elsewhere the following year without them getting any compensation whatsoever. They couldn't risk that, particularly approaching a free agent summer this year where they were trying to get a marquee player to come. Because you were willing to stand there and say, I don't want to be here and y'all shouldn't want to come either, because this ain't the place to be. They couldn't have him there, particularly if he was in a position to sign a qualifying offer, which he says he would have done. So that's where you have your problem. They had to get rid of him. New Orleans doesn't have to do that with Anthony Davis. New Orleans can sit there and stand pat and say, we're going to wait till the summer, because there's a host of other teams that want him and may offer us a boatload for his services. Why should we just give in to what the Lakers want with 10 days notice before the NBA trading deadline expires, when we can buy ourselves a few months, wait until the summer, and see what you got to offer us? That's the difference. So Porzingis and Anthony Davis is not the same, but both situations have raised the antennas of league owners throughout those small markets in the NBA who says, we don't like caving to these big market teams. Something has to be done. So it's not just Anthony Davis against the Pelicans. It's Anthony Davis against every small market team in the NBA who wants to stop him, to send a message that you cannot ignore your contractual obligation to us. And on top of that, he's a young brother. So you're a young brother wielding that kind of power. You got billionaire white owners that don't like that. That's the real story going on in the NBA. And guess what? I side with the billionaire white owners. And I'm going to explain to y'all why in just a minute. Stick around. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Ryan Clark, Sal Palantonio, the heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder. All of them are coming up on the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN News. That was Straight Talk Wireless nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. By the way, do you have frequent heartburn? Like the kind where you have an acid stashed everywhere in case it pops up? You know what I mean. You keep some in your bag or your desk or your car or your nightstand. You have those chalky tablets ready for whenever and wherever heartburn strikes. Well, listen up. There's an easier way to deal with your heartburn. That's Prilosec OTC. Just one pill a day will last a full 24 hours with zero heartburn. So kick your antacid habit. It's possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief. Back to your calls and more in a minute, and I'll break down to you why those white billionaire owners are not wrong. I'll explain